Hello everybody, welcome to the channel. My name is Lindsay and this is Life.W.Lindsay. Today we have a WIP Chat. If you do not know what a WIP Chat is, that is when I work on my current WIP, WIP, which is work in progress. And this is currently Unicorn from Lola Rose Diamonds. I will leave the unboxing for you guys up in the eye if you'd like to see that. And you can pull out whatever it is that you are working on. It can be another craft project, it can be a household project, it can be while you're doing chores, running errands, while you're at work, while you're pretending to work, or if you just feel like hanging out with someone. There is no right way or wrong way to WIP Chat. So, like I said, this is Unicorn from Lola Rose Diamonds. I did mistakenly call this Bed of Flowers in my unboxing, because that's what the one label said, but after double checking with Malin, the owner, this is indeed called Unicorn, and this will be part of her fall releases. I am just working, this is currently the body of the Unicorn. There's a lot of color blocking in this, however you can see it's very like checkerboarded throughout the body and in parts of the mane. So I am kind of jumping between a couple colors here. I've got my notes for the week. Before I get super into this, hi, if you're welcome. Hi, welcome. I'm sorry, let's try that again. Hi, if you're new here, welcome. My name is Lindsay, and I do mainly diamond painting content, some other crafting related content, but I would love for you to like, subscribe, hit the bell, hop aboard the Hot Mess Express. Let's all be friends. Oh my gosh, you guys, words are so hard. And if you've been here before, hi, welcome. So I am, as I mentioned, currently working on this, and I do apologize if you are new here and you're like, whoa, is she always like this? Yes, indeed I am. That is why I call myself the Hot Mess Express, the conductor of it. I may have to shift a little bit. If you guys are seeing like a weird line here, my light pad ends right here. But I am working on this for the Love Still Wins event that I am co-hosting with Nox. They posted a video on like how to participate and whatnot, and I will link that for you guys up in the eye. Should I probably make one for my own channel? Yeah, probably, but you know, I can also direct you guys over to Nox's channel to watch it, and hope that you will. We've had quite a few people sign up and are already participating, which is absolutely fantastic. For anyone who does not know, it is a no-start event, so it can be a canvas that you've already started and put aside, or one that, you know, you didn't finish from last month's events. I have my little fan going, just so you guys know, so it might be a little loud, but not nearly as loud as the box fan that I've had in the last couple videos. You guys, it is hot here. It is hot and humid and gross, and I work on the 3rd floor of my house, so it gets like unbearable at times. But anyway, so the event, it can celebrate love and things that are important. So anything that has any rainbow representation is accepted. If you can justify why you think it fits in the event, chances are we will accept it. But I love you, Nox, and I'm so glad that you asked me to join. But if you guys have questions about your canvas, I'm going to recommend that you reach out to Nox before me. Not that I am not as important in this event as Nox, but there's oftentimes people come to me and then I immediately go to Nox to ask them, like, hey, do you think this fits? You know, either way, you can message me, you can message Nox. But anyway, so before I get super into this past week, I do want to let you guys know, for anyone who was here, they heard, I don't know what this kid's doing, the stories from camp. We just learned today, which is now 2+ weeks after the event, that she learned all about frogs, because she was talking about them today, and I was like, what? I was like, where'd you learn that? And she was like, at camp. In those moments when she was actually at camp, and I was like, hey, what did you learn about today? Nothing. I don't know. Or I get like one thing. So apparently over the last few days, we found out she learned about exoskeletons, praying mantis, and the importance of the praying mantis, and frogs, and that they apparently went to a body of water to look for frogs. When she told me that today, I can tell you that was indeed news to both myself and my husband. Like, I was like, what? I had no idea. Like, is this how school's gonna be? I have no idea. Like, I really think this is what it's gonna be like when she goes to school. That we're not gonna find out about what she's doing until way after the fact. But I also hope that that doesn't mean, like, if there's deadlines, that she will also not tell us until way after the fact. I don't know about you guys, but I am one of those people, like, if I don't write it down, it does not exist. So, if I have an appointment and I don't put it in my calendar on my phone, I will not remember that we have it, or event or activity or sport or whatever. And even things that we do every week, I sometimes have to double check, like, what time is that? Like, we've been ice skating for so long, and I can't tell you how many times I've double checked, like, what time is ice skating? Even though I know what time it is. Anyone else like that? But anyway, I hope that you guys all had a wonderful week. I feel like I've been rambling for a really long time, and I've told you guys absolutely nothing exciting or eventful, which, I mean, I'm not really here to tell you guys about all the exciting and eventful things. I just share with you, like, what goes on in my week. And I know there are some people out there that are like, well, you guys do a lot. And part of it is that if we sit at home all day, every day, all the kid does is, like, whine, which... it's the age, I know, and complain, but, like, about the dumbest things ever, and, I don't know about you guys, but if I can take my kid to burn some energy in a place that's not the inside of my house, or out in 100-degree weather, I'm gonna choose that over sitting outside. Like, my mom said to me the other day, well, doesn't she love her water table? And I said, yes, she does. But I don't love her water table when it's 98 degrees out with 70% humidity. Like, I'd rather be inside where it's air conditioned. And it's funny because one of the days this week, let me take a quick break. I love this tumbler. It's got skulls. I don't know if it's showing up on camera because there's a glare. My kid has, I don't know what they're officially called. They're not bumpers. Briar's been in a bed since she was like 1.5. She tried to climb out of her crib once, and that was enough for me to promptly convert it to a bed. But we have for lack of a better term, I'm just going to call them bumpers. They go over the railings of a crib or a bed or whatever. And a lot of people do them because they match the decor in the nursery, blah, blah, blah. I got them because my kid, when she was younger, was chewing on or smashing something into the side of them to chip the wood. Briar still mouths a lot of things, which if you don't know what that means, like, it literally means she, like, puts her mouth on things or in things. Which, yes, babies do that, but my kiddo is not a baby. And, like, the amount of times she comes into our room and I have to tell her, stop putting your mouth on my bed frame. She puts her lips, like, on the metal, and all it's going to take is, like, one little knock for her to smash a tooth. So I'm like, stop doing that. And also, like, don't put your mouth on things because that's not sanitary. But anyway, not the point. So she still has those covers on her, the edge of her bed. Her bed is currently in, like, a day bed position. So, like, the one side, which will eventually be the headboard for her bed, is, like, over here, and then she has the two sides up here, and then the front's completely open, and it's the two sides here that have the crib railing, or whatever you want to call it, on it. And I don't know if I've ever mentioned this here, or just, like, in conversation, like, personal conversations with people, but one of the things that my kid does, like, obsessively, and it drives both of us insane, is knots. She has to tie things in knots. She has to put her clothing in knots. So there's not a lot of shoes with shoelaces in our house for her, because she will literally just untie the shoelace and just tie them into, like, strings of knots. And then she's 4 and doesn't have the dexterity to undo the knots. It's very frustrating. But it's not just like, oh, here's a shoelace, because, you know, that makes sense. Literally, anything she can tie in knots. So she wears a lot of knee-high socks. She will tie the socks together in knots. She will take her pants off and tie them in knots. But sometimes it's tied in knots around things, like her furniture. So she has taken the strings of the crib railing and untied them from the way they were supposed to be tied and just made them into a string of knots. Some of them are still tied properly, and then she just knotted underneath it. But it allows her, I don't even want to say that, it gives her a place where she can, again, not suggesting this and not encouraging it, but that she can hang off of it. And I was saying to my friend the other day, I was like, tell me your kid needs sensory input without telling me your kid needs sensory input. And then I sent her the picture of my daughter hanging upside down from the strings. If I have the photo, and it will, because it's like a from the baby monitor, so I don't know if it'll show up, but if I have it, I will throw that here. And you can just see she's literally just hanging upside down like Spider-Man style. So that was fun. But anyway, last Sunday we didn't really do a whole lot of anything. We just hung around the house. It was much needed, but part of that was we knew we had a busy week coming up. For those who've been following along, my husband's large order, and when I say large, I mean there's 88 pieces in this order, and it is being hand delivered to New York. But now we're realizing that perhaps us going for a couple day trip to New York is not really worth it, which I guess is another conversation. Like, we knew it would be expensive to stay in New York, and because a lot of people don't drive in the city, you know, parking is an issue, and then the cost of a decent hotel with like not really any special amenities is just more than we want to spend. And you know, like, we could afford to stay at a hotel in that price range, but this wasn't really a destination that, like, our family was like, you know what, I can't wait till we go to New York. No offense to people who live in New York, you know, because I know New York is fantastic. But at the same token, why would I spend hours and hundreds of dollars to go somewhere that we're not, like, clamoring to go? Does that make sense? So, and that's supposed to be dropped off this week, so we'll see what we end up doing. My husband and I have been floating around a couple other ideas, but those will be delivered. I don't even know where I was going with this, but we knew we had that coming up. We had a couple other big things coming up this week, so we just wanted, like, one day to, like, sit and do nothing. And then Monday, there's a local mom group on Facebook where I live, and somebody was asking about where's the best Mexican food in the area, and my husband and I enjoy Mexican cuisine quite a lot, and so this one restaurant was really, really highly recommended, and it was Mexican and Central American dishes. And my husband was like, why don't we go there for lunch? And I was like, okay. And he had looked it up, and everything said it was open, and we got there, and indeed it was not open. First we watched somebody else walk up to the door, and there was a little sign on the door, and I guess it said it was closed. So we were like, okay, well, I guess we have to go somewhere else. So we ended up actually going to the Mexican restaurant we usually go to, which I do love, don't get me wrong, but, you know, it's, when you're all excited to try somewhere new, you know, it's a little bit of a letdown. But then Briar has zero patience, which, again, I know is age appropriate. But, like, the whole time, are we gonna be there? Like, damn, girl, are we there yet? Like, no, we're not there yet. You saw us just leave the other restaurant. We have to drive to the real Taco Bell, as she calls it. So, we did. Sorry, I was trying to concentrate a little bit. If you guys are people who like multiplacers, I know not everybody uses or enjoys multiplacers, but when I have it like this, where it's almost every other or two, and then skip a space and then one, one thing I try to do is separate my drills a little bit. Let's see if I can show you guys what I'm talking about. So, like this, where I have a row over here, and then, so I'm going to zoom down so I can pick one up, and to pick up another. So I have them every other. I know it's not. There we go. Focus. And then when I place them down, they are already in. Of course, there's no every other now. So there we go. And then I can just fill them in that way. It's one little tip and trick from me to you. Enjoy. But yeah, so we did that, and then I had suggested to my husband I wanted to do something after her nap. So, which we are also in that fun stage right now where she's like, I don't need a nap. And it's like, well, first of all, yes, you do, contrary to your own belief. You absolutely still need one. And I understand she's 4.5, closer to 5. She's not going to nap unless, like, she is dead tired. But at the same token, her nap time, which is right now, which is probably why you guys hear her running around in the background, is also time when mommy and daddy get stuff done, i.e. right now while I'm recording or when my husband's working. And even though she doesn't want it, we still need her to have that quiet time, which, again, not so quiet. I can hear her running around and all that fun stuff, but I need her to have those moments to, like, recharge her body. And she's not in there for very long. And I know, like, once school starts, things are going to be different. Hopefully, once school starts, she'll be back to wanting to nap because she'll be so tired. I know it's not going to happen. I'm just trying to convince myself of that. But I had said to Brian, like, I really wanted to do something after her nap. And I have lived in the Hershey, Pennsylvania area for a decade now. We go to Chocolate World and Hershey Park and stuff like that. We do a lot of the touristy stuff because we live here, but we've never done any of the paid exhibits at Chocolate World. Now, if you've ever been to Chocolate World is free. It is part of Hershey Park, but it is open year-round. If you are local to the area, people go there all the time because then they can get, it's either heated or air conditioning, depending on the time of year, and you can ride a ride, and it's a factory tour. It's just like some lady named Alex, which is obviously just an actress, on the screen telling you all about, like, how they make their chocolate and blah, 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 blah. And, like, I don't really care about what's on the video. My kid loves the video. She loves Alex. She loves the whole thing. And when we go, we usually ask if we can stay on the ride a couple times. Like, if it's really busy, they obviously aren't going to let us. But if it's, like, there's nobody else in line, then yeah, it's not a big deal. But we've never done any of the paid exhibits. So I was like, well, why don't we do the Build Your Own Chocolate Bar? And listen, it's not cheap. And I was like, I keep seeing ads for a Build Your Own Reese's Peanut Butter Cup, and I would rather do that. So I figured it out. The Build Your Own Reese's Peanut Butter Cup is something that you, like, wait in line for. You don't have to buy tickets for it or anything like that. It is $20. It's $19.99 plus taxes and whatever, I guess. And they have a list of, like, mix-ins. You get 2 giant scoops of peanut butter. It is 1 pound, all in a big, dark, I don't know if it's dark, a big, thick chocolate shell. They put your mix-ins in, and then you can have 4 mix-ins and 2 toppings, and then they put a chocolate shell on top, and it is a 1 pound peanut butter cup. And I was like, I would rather do that. And my husband's like, me too. So we did it, and it was delicious. I think I have a photo. I will put that here if I do. If not, I have a reel that's on my Instagram. You can check that out. We decided to put in white chocolate chips. That was a Brian thing. Reese's Pieces. That was a me thing. Mini marshmallows, that was a Breyer thing. And then Brian noticed they had the Reese's Puff cereal. So we had that mixed in. And then we had marshmallow fluff and peanut butter drizzle on top. Oh my God, you guys. It was amazing. I was like, I don't want a birthday cake. I want this for my birthday. Which, my birthday, I don't know if I've mentioned this or not, is my birthday and Briar's birthday are 10 days apart, but we're going to Disney for her birthday this year, so, like, my birthday is going to be completely insignificant. Which, whatever. It is what it is. I mean, it sucks because it's a milestone birthday, but I know it is what it is. And then Brian's birthday is 12 days after hers, And so she was born like literally less than 2 weeks before his 40th birthday. So like we did absolutely nothing for his birthday because we had a newborn, and everybody's like, "This is your birthday gift." And he's like, "Thanks." Like, I mean, obviously he was thankful for her. I didn't mean to make it sound like that. But anyway, so we did that. We went to Chocolate World. We got that. And then, let me see, where am I at? Oh my God, I'm only on Monday, you guys. We ended up going to Panera for dinner because it's local. It was quick. And, so here's my one thing with Panera. Every single time I order a salad from them, I get the chicken removed because I don't eat chicken, and I can do a regular Caesar salad or a Greek salad if I don't want chicken, or I can just have them remove a chicken. And then Brian always asks for extra chicken. So now I don't want to say I've outsmarted them, but I figured it out because they're not going to give me money back for removing chicken, but they are indeed going to charge him like an extra $3 or whatever it is to get extra chicken added to his. So I always just get my chicken on the side, and then I just give him the container, and it works. It works for us. But so we did that. And then, one little tangent here. Why do so many people think that, like, lines don't apply to them? I was in line. I wasn't sure if I needed to be in line for the Reese's Peanut Butter Cup the way the other paid exhibits were, because it said there was no time tickets. But I waited in line to just double check with the guy working. But this woman, like, literally came up, like, right in front of me. And I just looked at her and I said, "Ma'am, I'm in line. The line is behind me." And she was like, "Oh, I know." But yet still stood there. And I was like, okay. And as soon as it was my turn, I just looked at her because she was ready to go right up to the counter. And as I was waiting, and then there was this family that had like a wagon full of kids, and they were just running around. And like, look, that's not my issue. My issue is that, like, I was letting them continue to cross in front of me. And the lady's like, "You can go now." Like, bish, I didn't ask for your opinion. I'm being polite. You're the one who totally tried to jump in line and then got, like, embarrassed that I called you out on it in front of your kid or grandkid or whoever she was. Not my place to judge. We also had a stark realization, speaking of parents and grandparents, that there's a really good likelihood that when my kid goes to school, that some of her classmates, that their grandparents are going to be in our age bracket and not the parents. Nothing like being an old parent. Anyway, so that was that. Then Tuesday, we went to ice skating, and it was a new session. I always love when we get a new session because there's always kids you haven't seen that have come back, or kids that are new. And we met this family that had just moved here from Alaska, and Brian was talking to the one mom out in the hallway. She was asking him about, like, where did Briar get her skates and blah, blah, blah. And he was like, we actually got her fitted for them, but I would recommend you make sure your kids are super into this before you go ahead and buy ice skates, and then get them professionally fitted, because Briar's ice skates are not the same size as her street shoes. They are significantly larger, and I'm glad that I didn't just jump in and buy what I thought she needed, or they would have been way too small. But they were talking, and then Brian comes in, he goes, "Guess what?" And I was like, "What?" He's like, "That new little boy, he has the exact same birthday as Briar." And I was like, "No way. What are the odds?" Like, it's one thing to meet somebody who has the same birthday as you. It's another to meet somebody who has the exact same birthday, like, year and date. Not just like, "Oh, we're both born on January 15th, which is not my kid's birthday, just FYI. But I thought that was pretty cool. And then we decided to, after skating, go to a place local to us for lunch. Because they usually don't have a long wait, and they move pretty quickly. Of course, we went on a day that they had a wait, and normally it wouldn't be a big deal, but we had a virtual appointment that we had to be at. And of course, that's the day, but it wasn't worth it at that point for us to go somewhere else and hope they didn't have a wait. So we waited, And we waited outside under a tree that was like in a planter, I guess, for lack of better terms, that backed up into the parking lot. Now, this restaurant has an awful parking lot. But we sat there and we were not in the parking lot. We were next to the parking lot. But oh my God, did we almost get hit? Almost. By, I would say, at least 5 cars. People would pull in and realize they had to make a very sharp, like 90-degree turn, which is like nearly impossible on a busy street. Or like you'd have the occasional person that would pull all the way up and try to back in. But they didn't know how to react when they saw us sitting under the tree in the planter thing. And I was just like, this is fun. Don't hit us. And, you know, of course, Briar, I'm like, stay over there. Like, do not move. And not one person that tried to pull into that parking spot actually stayed in that parking spot. But then we got, we got seated. We had a spot at the counter, and Briar, like all of the waitresses that were working were coming by and talking to her and paying her so much attention, and she loved it. And I was like, wow. She's super into waitresses. I don't know if I've ever mentioned this. She's really obsessed with people who work in the service industry in general. If you bus tables, if not necessarily a hostess as much, but sometimes if you bus tables, if you are a waiter or a waitress, like she is just like obsessed. And we've figured it out. It's from Tiana. Because they show a lot of Tiana as like the waitress, and she has the waitress outfit, and she has a toy with the waitress outfit, and she really, really loves it. But the reason we were in such a hurry is my husband and I had a 1 o'clock intake appointment over Zoom. I have been on waiting lists. I've mentioned this before. I've talked about this. I'm going to be very, very honest about this. And you know, my hopes is that it doesn't make anyone uncomfortable, but if it does, it does. Not a lot of people want to talk about, like, mental health in general, but especially not in children. And we have some behavioral issues that are going on. And my sneaking suspicion is that my child may have more underlying. I've mentioned this many, many times. So unless this is your first time here, you know, this isn't new news. And I've had backlash from people where they think I'm trying to, like, impose things on my kid, or, you know, like, why am I searching for something to be wrong with my child? And I'm not. I'm just really, I'm trying to be proactive. I've got a child who's going to school in the fall, and who will be in the K-12 public school system in a year, and I need to make sure that some of the things that are going to impede her ability to learn and grow into a successful human being, that we address those now and not wait until they are a problem. A lot of people, and this is a generalization, but a lot of people wait until their child or their loved one shows struggles to start the process. Or in cases of kids who already have a diagnosis, sometimes the schools won't do anything until the kid is struggling, and then they go, okay, let's get what they need. And I'm not okay with that. So I want to be proactive. I also know the waiting list for things is unreal. If you guys are in a similar situation, and the idea of my child may need assistance very soon, but not today, then start the process. Because all I can say is that it has taken me 6 months to get off of any waiting list just for an intake appointment for a psychologist. And that does not include the developmental pediatrician or anything like that, which we did get a referral for that, and God knows how long that will be. So we had an intake appointment with a psychologist, and we discussed what our needs were or what we were looking for, and things like that. And she explained to us exactly what she does and why she thought Briar would be a good fit, and also agrees with a lot of my assumptions, for lack of a better term, about my child. I have my suspicions as to what's going on. I just need somebody to evaluate her. And I've talked about this before. And I've come to the point where I realize, like, I'm not going to be able to just get over the medical PTSD and the trauma that I have for all that time with Briar as a baby, being told over and over again there was nothing wrong with her. She was okay. I was overreacting. I was just a first-time parent, until I ended up in the emergency room, and then everything was justified. And when I was meeting with her over Zoom, and I was explaining some of these things because they were relevant to some of the questions that were being asked, and she just stopped and acknowledged that must have been really hard to deal with. And I realized 4.5 years later, I'm still dealing with it, and it's still hard. And it makes me feel like I'm not doing enough for my kid. I'm not doing right by my kid, even though I know I'm pushing super, super hard. And then I got an email from her office, and it said, this is not a bill, this is an estimate, but I needed to agree to it in order for us to continue to move forward. The problem is, they're only showing me what they're billing to the insurance company, which is almost $600 a session, and I have no idea how much of that my insurance will cover. And I'm now in this weird spot of, I need to find out, what my insurance will cover of that, or what they won't cover of it, and how much it would cost to pay out of pocket, because I can't afford to spend, $1,200, $1,300 a month on therapy. And this is not me asking, because somebody asked me, they're like, well, would you do a GoFundMe? And I was like, it's nobody else's responsibility to pay for my kids' therapy. So I'm just going to put that out there. I'm not soliciting for donations or anything like that. I'm just a real life person trying to figure out how to afford medical costs for my kid, for something that my kid needs. And it's very overwhelming. It's very, very overwhelming. So, I had that going on. Oh, excuse me. Let me see, what else do I have? Oh, and then we were hanging out. Well, I tell you, like, it was a draining day. My husband ended up taking a nap, and I was downstairs with Briar. And at one point, I just looked at her, and I said, hey, baby girl, do you want to take a nap with mommy? And she was like, okay. And she literally crawled up into my lap and fell asleep in my arms. And she hasn't done that since she was like a baby. But I needed that. She needed that. I didn't sleep. I would have loved to have actually slept. But yeah, so that's how I spent Tuesday. And then, of course, I've been, stressed about that ever since Tuesday. But, oh, and then I finished my Each Soul Has a Tree. I did a post review for that one. I will leave that one up in the eye for you guys. Wednesday, I shared it into my stories. I don't know if you saw, but for all of my 80s and 90s babies out there, Walmart has Trapper Keepers now. They redid them, and they're not actual, like, Lisa Frank ones, but they're quite similar, and they come with a couple folders. And I was like, I really want to go to Walmart and get myself a Trapper Keeper, and Brian's like, okay. So we did. This is how my brain works, you guys. I just wanted a Trapper Keeper. For what? I have no idea. Do I have anything that needs, like, file folders and a notebook and stuff? No, not at all. But do I want it? Absolutely. Did I also buy a second one online? You betcha. I really have no idea why I bought them, but I needed them. And then we needed, like, 3 things. Brian needed a pair of shorts. We needed toilet cleaner, which, oddly enough, I couldn't find the one I was looking for. I like the bleach-free one for my kids' like little potty, because like I don't want bleach on something so close to like where her butthole is. Just personal opinion. And then we went down to like First Watch for lunch, and kid like housed her food. It was crazy. But after her nap, my husband and I had decided. So we haven't seen my mother-in-law in a little bit now. She doesn't tend to come to our place, which is fine. And I don't particularly enjoy going to her place because she has a dog that I am very, very allergic to. And sometimes it's just too much for my body to handle. So we usually go outside. However, it's been hotter and hotter each day. Like, we went back up into the 90s. I was like, oh, we got a break. Nope, we went right back into it. So we had asked her if she wanted to join us to go to the play place. So we went to the play place, which is an indoor, like, play park. And, you know, Briar had a little situation where she was upset that somebody was playing with the toys she wanted to play with. I will never force my kid to give up a toy because somebody else wants to play with it. However, I very much encourage that, like, you've had a really long time with this. Why don't we let them have a turn now? And, you know, my mother-in-law came over and she's like, well, I'm going to let you handle this. Which, like, thank you. I'm her parent. I should be the one to handle this. So I did. And I let Briar know it was this other little girl's turn. And when she was done with it, Briar could play with it again, which seemed to make Briar go, okay. And so I said to the little girl, I said, listen, honey, you can play with this toy as long as you want. You know, just when you're done, if you could bring it back so she could play with it again. And she was like, yeah, of course. And the girl only played with it for a few minutes, but the fact of the matter is she really wanted to play with it, and Briar was, like, hoarding it. She would take it with her and then, like, stash it next to her if she was playing with something else so nobody else could touch it. And I'm not okay with that. It's not the same thing as, like, well, your daughter played with this for 5 minutes. It's my kid's turn to play with it. And the other girl's mother didn't say a word to me about it. And I said something to her afterwards about how sweet her daughter was to so willingly bring it back. And she was very, very kind. They were about the same age. And I know a lot of people don't have similar views, but, like, I'm never going to force my child to share one of her own things with someone else simply because they want to play with it. Because, and this wasn't her own toy. So, you know, I obviously handled it a little bit differently. But at the end of the day, have you as an adult ever been forced to hand over your cell phone because somebody else wanted to play with it? Or have you ever been forced to, share a snack with a coworker because they said they liked it too? Like, if I don't have to do that as an adult, why am I forcing my 4-year-old to do that as well? And it's not that I don't want my child to share. I don't want my child to be forced to give up the thing that is giving her comfort or helping her as an outlet for, you know, something. And I know not everybody agrees with that, and that's totally fine, but that's how I do the things that I do. We wanted to go... We were going to go over to Applebee's because it was right there, and it was like a crazy long wait, and somewhere else had a really long wait, so we ended up at Five Guys, which is fine. My daughter was funny. She's like, can we go get barbecue? And I was like, oh, I'm sorry, sweetheart, like, Yama doesn't eat barbecue. And she's like, oh, how about, can we go get sushi? And I was like, Yama doesn't eat sushi, sweetheart. You know, I said, if you're asking a grandparent to take you to go get sushi, that's mommy's parents. Those are the ones who are going to take you to go get sushi. You know, Brian never had sushi before him and I dated, and he never had Chinese food until he was in college. It's just the area he grew up in, and, you know, his parents, I don't think his parents even really eat seafood, let alone, you know, raw. But, last couple times I've eaten at Five Guys, it really has not settled well with my stomach, so I wasn't super thrilled, but I did okay, surprisingly. But we did that, and then the next day, we knew we were not going to have swimming. Our swim coach, her kids had camp, so I think she canceled appointments for the whole week. So we had told her, like, way before this that when you're scheduled for your swim lesson, we're going to take you over to Toddler Jump. I was talking to Tia about this. If you guys live near Get Air, which is a national chain for a trampoline park, It's a pretty national thing. I don't know, obviously, if your local park would have it or not, but ours on Tuesdays and Thursdays has toddler jump. They don't need to be a toddler. It's just 46 inches and under. Obviously, they're not out there like measuring every kid. But the thing that's really great about it is that, first of all, the kids don't have bigger kids there to like push them around, which is, you know, why Brian doesn't like taking her to open jump. But also they're not confined to like just the toddler area. So we've done toddler time a few times. It's always when she has ice skating or swimming. So for us, it'll be really nice to get to take her like when she has a day off like that. And we did. I don't know if you guys are all still masking. We are. And that's a personal preference. And, you know, I care about the people around me. And that's not for a debate. But it's interesting because sometimes I can't recognize people with their masks on. Or like my daughter's one teacher, she was at the door the one day. And I didn't realize it was her because I've never seen her without a mask, like ever. So I saw a former friend of mine at the jump park and she kept smiling at me. And I was like, does she realize it's me? Or is she just, you know, being polite because somebody looked in her direction? I don't know. I'm honestly not going to lose any sleep over it because there's a reason we are no longer friends. But after we jumped, Briar, I didn't jump. There is a hibachi place in that shopping center that also has pretty decent sushi. So she had asked for it the day before, so I was like, you know what, let's take her to get sushi. And so she's funny. She calls it shushi from the tabachi, and she brings her own chopsticks with her, and like, girl loves it. And I just put one too many, I think, here. Maybe I didn't. Look at me not being able to count. But she also calls it a California roll, which I think is the cutest thing ever. So I started to order. She's like, I want to order my lunch. Thankfully, the waitress and the hibachi chef got a huge kick out of her because she was just, you know. This kid is a showman. She wants everyone to pay attention to her all the time for all the things. And God forbid you don't. God forbid you don't. Then it's like the end of the world. Like, hello? Pay attention to me. Like, kid, sometimes mommies and daddies have other things going on that require my attention. But anyway, super tangent on that. So we had a really lovely afternoon there. And then Friday we had to stop at the market to get my husband's medication. And then came the 75,000 questions from Briar about, like, what are we doing? Where are we going? What are we going to eat for lunch? Blah, 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 blah. It's like, oh my God. So I chose to go to Fuddruckers. I have been to Fuddruckers as a child. I have never been to Fuddruckers as an adult. I wasn't sure. Like, I really had no idea what it was going to be like. But I looked online. For those who don't know, I don't eat hamburgers. Why did I recommend a hamburger joint? Because online it shows that they have hot dogs. I do eat hot dogs. And I was like, all right, well, we can make it work. There's nobody there. I walk in and I was like, huh. Okay. And I go to order and I see that they, in fact, do not have hot dogs. They have hot dogs on the kids menu, but not on like the regular menu. And, so I was like, well, all right. I said, well, how big is your side, if I get the mac and cheese? And the kid, like, that was ringing us out. You would have thought I asked him the most difficult, annoying question. It was like followed with huge size, and it was just one of those like little paper containers. But I didn't want to get a tiny, tiny side of mac and cheese as my dinner and not have enough to eat. And then like none of the tables had been wiped down. It was like everything was sticky. It was so gross in there. That will also be the last time I ever go back to Fuddruckers. And like Briar was like, well, how come you can't just order the kids hot dog, mommy? And I was like, because I'm not a kid and that's not how it works. So that was definitely disappointing, but it is what it is. But I'll never go back. So that was fun. Saturday. So my husband placed an order at Lowe's, like a pickup order for some boxes. As I had mentioned, we are delivering his large order. And if anyone's curious why we are hand delivering the order instead of shipping it, the cost to ship that many pops and to insure them for what they're worth would have cost us more than it would for us to drive there, drop them off, and bring them home. But because there are that many of them, he needed to get boxes so that when they were in the car, like when he gets to the place, that he can take the whole box out and deliver them to the order. Oh, hi.
Oh, hi.
And so he's like, I don't know why this is taking so long. Like, I literally just placed an order for a couple boxes. So he's like, I'm just going to go over there. I'm like, all right. So we go there, and he's sitting in the parking lot, and it shows that the order would be available for pickup, like, Monday. He's like, what the hell? Wednesday. Which I'm like, are they shipping them to you? Like, what's happening here? So he's like, screw this. I'm just going to go in. I'm going to cancel my order, and I'm going to pick up the boxes. So we did that, and he's like, why don't we go to Roadhouse, Texas Roadhouse? And I was like, okay. For some reason, their takeout has been terrible during COVID, which is neither here nor there. But it's not necessarily my first choice place to go for steaks, but my husband was craving steaks, and I said, that's fine. It was 4:45. There was a 45-minute wait. A 45-minute wait at 4:45. I was like, well, why don't we go to Longhorn? Longhorn showed they had no wait, and it was across town. So we went to Longhorn. So we're sitting at Longhorn. We're, talking to the waitress. We're placing our order, all this stuff. So Briar ordered whatever she ordered and wanted fruit as a side dish. So the girl told us it usually comes with oranges, but she can get grapes if that's what Briar wants. Or grapes and strawberries. And Briar was like, yeah, grapes and strawberries. So here comes our order, and it's strawberries and oranges. Oh my gosh, you guys. This kid freaked out and was like, but she told me I was going to get grapes, and I want grapes. And I was like, Briar, first of all, you like everything that's here right now. This kid ate like 4 oranges the other day, just in a day. It's very annoying that she's freaking out that it's a different fruit than what she asked for. Now, here's the thing. It'd be different if she was like, I want fruit, and then they brought out broccoli. But she asked for fruit, and we were originally going to get oranges until she found out that they had strawberries and grapes. And then it was strawberries and oranges, so it was still fruit that she wanted. Just she had her mindset. And so she made this huge deal. I'm going to say something, and I was like, absolutely not, Briar. We are not going to fight over the fact that they brought you grapes, or didn't bring you grapes. Words are hard. So, of course, as I say that, they brought my husband broccoli instead of what he ordered, and they brought us a Coke, and she goes, nobody ordered a Coke. I don't know why I brought a Coke over. And the Coke sat there because nobody at our table drinks Coke.
Or soda in general.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, no shade to anyone who drinks Coke. My mom is a Diet Coke person. But, so we had a really good meal. It was very delicious. We quite enjoyed it. Brian went to take Briar to the bathroom, but the only stall in the men's room was taken. So I came, he texted me, he's like, can you? And I was like, absolutely not a problem. For anyone curious, we give her the option, who do you want to take you to the potty? And she usually chooses my husband. And that's what she did. So in all of the scramble, I thought he had the book that she brought with her. He thought I had the book. And we got about 10 minutes down the road, and I realized neither of us had the book. Which, of course, now my daughter is freaking out because she's still mad about the grapes. Like, for real. And now, like, you left my book there? Why didn't you bring my book? And Brian was like, girl, it's your toy, your responsibility. It shouldn't be on mommy and daddy to make sure that you have the thing that you brought with you. Obviously, we aren't going to just be rude about it and not let her get it back. But we ended up calling them and turning around and getting it. And then we had to stop at the market to get some milk on the way home. And so he was like, I will get you the grapes. So the whole time we're in the car, well, aren't we going to get the grapes now? I'm like, oh my God, kid, we're going to get the grapes. We just have to go back to the restaurant to get the book because I'm not driving 20 minutes out of my way tomorrow to go get the book. I want the grapes now. She's like freaking out about the grapes. So of course we get home, we give her some grapes. She ate all the grapes. Can I have more grapes? No, you're going to bed. But did she freak out about these grapes? Oh, 100%. Was it warranted? Not even a little bit. But that was really like the main thing. You know, it's funny. I was looking at my timer here as I'm going through and filming because I was I was like, oh my God, I'm 30 something minutes in and I'm only on Monday. And then I scrambled so quickly to get through the rest of my week. Today is Sunday. I usually film on Sundays, and then try to get it edited and processed so that it can be live on Mondays for you guys. But I have a couple things that I need to film. I have a couple unboxings. I've had a couple people reach out and ask me if I got the Simona Candini Fantasy Mystery Kit, and the answer is yes, 100% yes. There's no doubt that I was going to buy it. My problem is I don't want to unbox that quite yet because I know the second I unbox it is going to be the second that I want to start on that kit. And I am, as I mentioned earlier, co-hosting the Love Still Wins event with Knox over on Instagram. You can also, if you are not an Instagram person, you can also join their Facebook group, which I will leave down below. And you can submit your start there, and I will link the Google Doc and all of that in the description down below. So I am doing this canvas for that because this has all of the rainbows and all of the hearts symbolizing love. And I have committed to this. I've committed to this for the event. And also, I'm working on a sample kit for Malin. Excuse me. And I want to make sure that I get it done because that was something I committed to. So super long answer to why I have not unboxed that is that. But I have a Craftably, I have a Distracted by Diamonds, I have a couple others downstairs. And I batch film. I've talked about this before. For anyone who is not in the industry, I say totally joking. Batch filming is when you sit and you film a bunch of videos all at once. I've got two limitations to batch filming. One is the amount of memory that I have on my phone. I can only film and edit so much at a time. But two is I need to have the time to do it, which is not always an issue. But it is so incredibly hot on our third floor. And I don't know about you guys, but like extreme heat makes me like lose all my motivation. But when we are up here, usually during the day, it's a lot more manageable with just a little desk fan. But in the evening, which is when I have a larger chunk of time to film, there is a giant box fan in the window. It is very loud and it is necessary. It's not super appealing to hear it in the background of the videos, so I try to not film when that's going, or say to my husband, I have to film real quick, I'm going to turn it off and then come back. But when I tell you guys, like, I will be, like, profusely sweating when I'm filming without that fan during the summer, like, it is unbearable sometimes up here, and we have, like, one air conditioning vent, so that's one of the reasons why I have not actually sat down to film in a while. I do have another Lola Rose unboxing from her fall line. If you guys are not already following her, please make sure you do. I absolutely love and adore Malin and everything that she stands for. And if you like supporting minority businesses, it is female owned and operated. She is a Latinx owner. I think that's super, super huge to support other small businesses and things like that. So yeah, I've got a couple of those. Obviously there will be a post review on this when it is done. But if there's anything that you guys are clamoring to see, let me know. I don't think I really have all that much more to film other than like unboxings at the moment. I will be doing some event videos along with Knox for the Love Still Wins. What will they entail? I'm not 100% sure yet, but just make sure you guys have that notification bell turned on so that you can find out whenever they go live, or when theirs go live as well. I think that's really it. So later today, we are going to go to a block party for our neighborhood. So as soon as I am done this, I will actually put all my diamond painting stuff away. And actually, it's not going away. It's staying here. I'm going away. And then I'll take a shower and head down there. I got a cute little dress from Walmart in the mail. It's definitely bigger than I expected it to be, but it was like on sale for like $9, so you know, you can't deny a cute $9 dress, right? You know what I mean? Woo! But I think that's it. We have vacation coming up this week. We have not figured out what it is. If you guys have any recommendations of things that are not super far from New York, like Brooklyn, I don't want to be in the city. But if you guys have any suggestions or recommendations, let me know down below. We're still not 100% sure on what we're doing. I'm really, really proud of my husband for doing an order of this size and being able to deliver it. But we want to make sure it gets there smoothly. And my daughter is really into hotels, so, you know, we would still like to do something. It's not the smartest thing for us anymore to make our family vacation a one-night stay in Brooklyn. So any suggestions, we are open to them. But I think that's it, you guys. I know I'm a couple minutes short. I could probably do a little song and dance for you guys, but most people probably already tuned out by now. But if you haven't, leave me like a dancing emoji, like the girl in the red dress or something music related. I'll know. But I think that's it. I think that's all I got for you guys for this one. We got a decent amount of the checkerboarding done. Let me turn the light off so you guys can see it a little bit better. So it'll give it some nice like movement in the fur. I'm excited. I think it looks good. The whole background is all color blocked. There are also glow-in-the-dark drills, you guys. I don't know if I share this. Let's see if it'll work while I'm talking. I'm just going to leave this right there for the time being so you guys can see it. Turn that up. Okay, ready? And do you guys see that? I know it's still bright out. Look at that glow. Holy shit, you guys. That's amazing. Okay, let me stop rambling. I should probably get my nails done. My daughter asked me about that the other day. She's like, why do you like to get your nails done, Mommy? And I was like, I don't really get my nails done, sweetheart. I've gotten them done a couple times. I'd like to, because I am terrible at painting my own nails. Totally on a tangent now. Let's just keep going. If you guys enjoyed this video, and you'd like to see more videos like this, or, you know, nothing like this at all, please make sure to give this video 2 thumbs up. One real life, one virtual. Make sure you guys hit that subscribe button. Come join the Sparkle Squad. And while you're there, hit that notification bell.
Yay.
I do not operate on any sort of schedule. I operate on toddler standard time, and I record when my tiny human is sleeping, or like today, sleeping. Thank you guys so much for being here, and I'll see you on my next one. Bye, guys!